Keith Russell here for CBS News, Dallas-Fort Worth with Aledo coach Buchanan. Coach, Rayfield Wright, one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time, but even more than that, one of the greatest people of all time, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, a Dallas Cowboys legend, two-time Super Bowl champ. But post-career, he was all about giving back, and that was his mission. And one of the things when I interviewed him, he spoke so fondly of was the relationship he had with Aledo High School. What did Rayfield Wright mean to you and your program?
Well, Rayfield, first of all, he was a great person, like you said, just an unbelievable man. Continued to give back to kids and our community when he moved to Aledo. Oh golly, probably nearly 20 years ago now. But the unique thing about him was how he would come talk to our kids. And the first time he did it, I believe, was around 2005 or 6. And he had that ability, even though he had been retired for, our kids didn't know who he was. I mean, they didn't remember the Dallas Cowboys from the 1970s, and they had no idea. But he was able to connect with those kids, and he would do it through talking about football or sports. And then the next thing you know, he was talking about being a good person and being a productive member of society. And he spoke to our kids this past football season, and it was the same thing. And our kids just loved to listen to him, and he meant the world to our community.
For your program, which holds the record for most state football titles in UIL history, most people would think that type of program that you've spearheaded wouldn't need someone to give them any motivation, to give them any pep talks. I mean, what does that say that your young men soaked up what he had to offer when they already statistically are part of a history that right now is at the top of the list?
Well, it tells you what type of person he is and the type of personality that he had. It's difficult for players who've been out of the league for 5 or 10 years to hold an audience of high school age kids. I mean, it's not easy to do. But Rayfield, he was such a presence when he walked into a room, and he had that ability to make every kid in the room feel important, every adult in the room feel important. And then the messages that he had, they had nothing to do with really playing football. They had to do with about having good character and being good dads, or going out and getting jobs and being productive members of our society. That's what he was able to do. And did he motivate them about getting ready to play a football game? Yes, he did. We had what was unique is our D tackles and D ends would hang around after the meeting to try to talk to, because he'd tell them a story about the old head slap that Deacon Jones used on him. And those kids would want to talk to him about how they did that. Is it still legal to do? Of course, it's not legal anymore. But he'd explain to them how the head slap was used back in the 1970s. So he had